of the Harlem Township Zoning Commission to order, and Ms. Zaruba, would you call the roll, please?
Catherine.
Here.
Here. Tommy.
Here.
Here. Dean Greenwell.
Here.
And Maureen Smith.
Here.
Thank you. We have no members of the public present in the room. If there's anyone online at this point, Bob is there? Okay. Good evening, Bob. Bob,
Good evening.
being a member of our trustees, is also present online. But Bob Singer will basically he's observing. He's not really a participant in the sense of he is free to make comments, but obviously his role is primarily that of an observer and carrying information. He can answer some questions for us periodically. Moving forward on the agenda, we have no additional officials to introduce tonight besides Ashley Zaruba, our zoning assistant. And we have no other members of the public present, so I'm assuming that means we won't have any new applications unless someone shows up late this evening. Next item on our agenda is review of minutes. These would be minutes from our regular meeting last week, February 2nd. They were received via email, and we had a chance to review them. Actually, included all of the changes that you received. Does anyone have anything further on these minutes that needs to be discussed?
I just want to ask one question.
Go right ahead, Don.
On page 2,
Page 2.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraphs down. Mr. Kabler stated that Mr. Miller owns 3 parcels, which was 2, and I changed that to 3 because there are 3 parcels. And these parcels are zoned 12 units per acre. And then it goes on with an easement for the trailer park sewage package treatment plant. It's not actually an easement. It's a property.
Oh, it's not.
It's a parcel that's owned by the trailer park,
At park.
which splits the.
Oh, it's owned by the trailer park. Okay.
There's gotta be an easement somehow.
Somebody's gotta have an
connecting
easement
it
then.
To the rest of the
It's
trailer.
literally a
No,
piece of
it's got
land.
Little
Parcel connects to.
Yeah.
So it does have that little.
Yeah.
Well, I must not have
It's
picked
like
the
it's
one
like a
up there.
ladle.
So-
You know, it's got the
When you
big.
look at it on the map, you can see there's the big parcel for the trailer park, then this little bitty skinny piece that comes out.
Okay.
So you
I
almost
just
want to
need to
say,
blow it
Well,
up a little
does
bit.
Miller then,
It's
I didn't look on the map, does Miller's parcel
In and around there.
have a
They don't show.
connector? Well, how does he get from his side to the other lot then?
Not my problem.
Then he's got got to get an easement from the trailer park.
yeah,
Or-
he would have to get the
Yeah,
easement.
or
Yeah.
buy that parcel. If the trailer park's gonna hook up to the sewer, they don't need that parcel. Where the package plant is.
Okay, well then let's change this so it doesn't say the easement. I just made that kind of as an assumption. I may have said it during the meeting too, because that's what I've,
It says,
yeah.
since you guys said it during the meeting and it should reflect what was said, do you want me to just correct it in these minutes? Like for this current meeting?
With, well, let's just say,
You said.
with the trailer park treatment plant parcel, I don't know what to call it.
Well, like Ashley's saying, do you want to just make a note in this minutes that we called it out? That it's not actually an easement, it's actually a piece of parcel.
That's probably.
Whatever you-
correct way to handle
Is it online? Does the trailer park show that then as a specific, it's part of their big parcel? It just runs
separate.
back there?
It's a
Louis, had you shown that? Had you pulled it up? I think he had pulled, I saw it with my eyeballs.
I
He
just,
pulled it up.
I couldn't figure that out that it was anything but an easement. It just seemed reasonable and logical. That's what it would be.
There it is.
Yeah.
So this is the trailer park, obviously, and this is the parcel that comes all the way down. Whatever CPM WE LLC is, probably the same as this. Yeah.
So it's the same owner,
Same-
but it's a
same
different parcel. ID.
Well, when that comes up,
So it's separated by a parcel for that. package plant serving the,
So, but Russ Miller's property straddles it, but it's split by somebody else's parcel.
Yeah.
Well, we will bring that up again for discussion then when we have that meeting with them on the 18th. That's what it's been scheduled for now, is next week on the 18th with Miller. What, is the 3 parcels correct?
It is now. It originally was 2.
It was 2 originally, yeah.
And I mean, there are 3 of them.
I knew it was 2, and that's why I want to make sure that this is
Where's
now
the
correct.
third one? Is it open?
So
It's not-
did we decide to leave it, or do you want to say,
I think maybe
Yeah, we
here's
just-
one way to deal with it. We just put a period after
that,
these parcels are zoned 12 units per acre, period.
okay, and then we don't say anything about,
oh, there it is.
And don't say anything about the trailer park.
good as that?
That way, I mean, insofar as dealing with it, it is something that Miller will have to deal with. And it has to be it will have to be a part of the plan, development plan when we see it. Everyone comfortable with that change?
What was your change here? You're crossing something out?
Oh, it goes 12 units per acre, period.
These
and-
parcels are zoned 12 units per acre, period, crossing the rest of it out. Since it's confusing as to what it is.
Inconsequential to anything, no decision for one.
And the only way to say it is with the trailer park treatment plant separating the parcels, but I don't know if I want to put that in there.
No. You can just leave it out.
All right. Thank you. Anything else? Thanks for pointing that out, Tom, because like I said, I was making the assumption it was an easement.
Yeah, I mean, I'm comfortable leaving it out so that it doesn't, we're not putting bad information into the.
Correct. I don't want to put bad information in here.
So we're done. I move that we approve the minutes of the zoning commission regular meeting held on February 2nd, 2026 with corrections.
I'll say,
Moved by Tom, seconded by Louis, to approve the minutes for February 2nd. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Fine.
That is minutes as corrected is actually the motion. Okay. Actually, we'll take care of making sure that's in the motion, I'm sure. Okay. Next item. Old business. First one, issues of concern from Mike Cannon. I put that on again because after our meeting last week on Tuesday, I talked with Mike, and based on our discussion, there was still a concern about the fact that the language in our zoning resolution was very clear on what it states. So he followed up with
Vince?
Vince
Bilio.
Bilio. And the recommendation from Vince was that they needed to go to the BZA and get a variance, which Mike has already talked to them about, and they have agreed to do it.
And which property was this again?
The pizza place, Center Village Pizza. So that's the way that is.
Oh, I thought we were talking about something else. So
That's
this is
for
on
the
the signs.
signs.
for the sign.
It's for the signs. Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought you would all remember. My bad.
There were multiple issues that he had.
Yeah.
That he talked about,
Yeah.
that being the first one, I think.
Yeah, so he went and got clarification on that indeed, because of what's in the zoning resolution, the only option right now would be for them to get a variance. He's thinking that we may want to look at changing that in the future.
Well, if we do a center village overlay, business overlay kind of thing. It's
Well,
probably gonna be in there.
I don't know whether we'll need to change anything or not, but at this point, there's no urgency to addressing it further because the solution would be the BZA.
Yeah.
So that there's no question about anything that might come up in the future that Mike has violated the zoning resolution by granting something that there's no authority for.
Yeah, and it's not something that Fracasso brought on themselves. It's not something Fracasso or that the new pizza owners brought on themselves.
Right,
It's a consequence of the way the resolution is written.
correct.
So a variance is fine.
Yeah. The other item that he did discuss, but he doesn't have any feedback yet from Vince about, is the issue of the frontage for 5 acres.
Right.
That is possibly, he's asked Vince for that feedback and he hasn't received it because we did talk about him
Right.
going there specifically for that.
And he
I can
just
see
said
why
put
why it was confusing at the beginning here now, because that was the one thing that he said he would check on.
Right.
Yeah, my apologies for jumping into it the wrong way. But that is still pending. We don't have any feedback on that one yet.
So we'll see that next month,
When he gets it, we'll pass it on.
but you won't take it off the agenda until,
We'll keep bringing it back, correct. That is correct. And maybe at our first meeting in March, Mike will be present and be able to give us a full explanation of it at that time. Okay, that takes care of those issues for Mike. Flow chart, Louis has distributed that to us with the changes. I've looked it over before I got here. It looks fine.
if it's fine, it's fine. You know,
I think you got everything we talked about.
Yeah.
are we going to assign a document number to this, or is this an informal document that doesn't?
Yeah, I don't know. Is this a formal document? Do we want to make it as such and have it available? It provides some guidance to the public.
Does it have to be a formal document to be able to provide it to the public?
No, I think
That works.
that helps in terms of finding it sometimes. It's a reference.
If we want to assign a number, I can put a number, tell me what the number you want, and I can put it at the bottom, and then we can rename the PDF to accordingly.
Does that mean that every time we want to make a change or an update, we have to like have a hearing or something?
No, we don't have that here.
No, okay.
We're approving this. We will take a motion to approve this. Are we going to post this on the website?
I don't think we would.
That was the discussion we had.
Yeah.
So that's why we would take a motion to approve it and post it on the website.
But sure, it needs a document.
The only reason I would say it's got a date on it. If we make a change, then we just leave the date, just say revised and the second date, so we can keep track of what's the most current.
What the
version
most
of it.
current version is.
Sounds good.
So,
Okay. Then how about a motion to approve the zoning map change workflow chart
And the only.
and place it on
The only other thing I
website.
would recommend is that when we approve it, Mike's gonna get feedback on it. People are gonna use it, they're gonna talk to him, and he will hear if people understand it, if they can work with it, if it's valuable. And we should ask him to give us that feedback.
Sure, we could ask for feedback.
That's all, just.
We may hear it. Ashley might be the person who hears about it
Mhm.
first. Because the phone calls will come in potentially to the office. They may be calling Mike, the zoning office, and Mike will pick it up. They may be calling the administrative offices and Ashley will get it. So either way, we will solicit the feedback from both Ashley and Mike
Good.
in the future.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Fresh eyes. I don't know the process. Are there actually 2 hearings?
Ours and the trustees.
Okay, Delaware
the
County Regional
Delaware
Planning.
County.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually
there-
3 hearings then, I guess. Huh?
Could be
Oh, okay, I see the other hearing down there. Okay,
be-
thank you. Thank you.
more than that. If it gets, well, the hearing, I guess. would
Hopefully
start
only 3.
And get tabled,
Continued,
and
yeah.
then go back to the same hearing, right? We'll get back up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, this is a kind of a good way to do some testing on it. Because Maureen hasn't been here when we've had all
Yeah.
these discussions about it.
Can you follow it?
I can't follow it. I just wanted to be sure I thought there were 2 hearings, one from Delaware County. I didn't see the one clear over to the right. I got bogged down on that. So, yeah.
The public, it's above where it starts because that's not something that the public initiates.
Right.
That comes about from us to them.
This was my job when I was working.
Making flow
Process
charts?
No,
flow
no,
diagrams and stuff.
And that, we worked on this for about 3 months.
Yeah,
Well, from the time we started.
right. The duration probably took us 2-3 meetings. We
Yeah.
didn't have a lot of.
Yeah.
To really perfect it,
Nicely done.
So since Tom brought this up.
It expanded a lot
Yeah,
from what it was
yeah.
initially.
A lot of fill in the blanks you had to.
Yeah.
Because I'd started this based on my understanding of the process, which being the last one here, then you guys had to help correct and fill in where I missed things. But Tom brought up something that I think we probably should put in here. Since this is meant to be a support reference.
Mhm.
I wouldn't want someone to download this and assume a step, like if they could come back to us and say, well, you didn't follow this step, or you left a step out and it cost me money. Like if this has an omission in it that we didn't catch, and we probably want to put a disclaimer on it that says this document is meant to be an overall guidance document, is no legal representation, not like some legalese, attach it to the bottom that.
From a working document,
Yeah.
than a checklist.
Correct. It's meant to be a supporting and guidance tool, not a step-by-step instructional tool.
This is not a legally binding document,
Right.
if you will.
And doesn't, we're not purporting that this document has every possible process step included in minutia detail. A lot of things aren't covered on this.
It's an overview.
Overview, yeah.
Can we put a statement on there that says the applicant should follow the procedures for submitting an application as they are described online? This is just a
A general guide.
general
Well,
guideline.
this doesn't give them any information on what they're supposed to be filling out. Gives them an idea of why it's gonna take so long.
Correct.
And cost.
It's to help set expectations for the entire process.
Yeah,
Not every little detail of the process, just the big picture.
This provides a picture of the entire process. This is not meant to be a checklist. Will that do it? Louis writing something.
Um. What I can put that on the text if we like that.
Like at the
I can put it
bottom.
On the document right now.
We haven't passed a motion yet.
Let
And
me,
we don't have a motion yet.
do you have the actual wording that you would like?
He's working on it.
Okay, we'll wait.
in front of people.
Can I lie?
Okay, I know, I wrote down, I'll have to see how close it comes out to being what I wrote.
All right, I'm still satisfied with Tom sketched up. I'm using a combination of what he wrote and what I changed on top. Disclaimer, this diagram is meant to provide an overview of the general process. It is not intended to address all issues and or process steps in all cases.
Good, can you go slower?
Disclaimer, this diagram is meant to provide an overview of the general process and is not intended to address all issues and or process steps in all cases.
It's not meant to,
Not intended to address all issues and or process steps in all cases.
And you're typing that into the document right now.
It is on the, oh, I should share it.
Yeah, so it's good. Where are you gonna put it? At the bottom?
At the bottom.
Yeah.
I was gonna put on the bottom right.
Instead of diagram, I might say chart, because the label is chart.
It says chart, okay. It's a chart.
You-
Flow chart.
Anyone want to make a motion
yeah, we
to,
call it flow chart.
This flow chart is, and so I've got the text up on screen right now. I can zoom.
no, I can't read it from here, but
I just
take your word
did
for
too
it.
much, so I can't even put it on the screen.
I feel that,
It's mostly there.
I feel that vision test. You do
Okay.
so.
Okay,
This disclaimer, this flow chart is meant to provide an overview of the general process that is not intended to address all issues and or process steps in all cases. There could be other steps.
Right.
More detailed steps.
that sounds fine to me. Anybody have,
It's there just to hopefully cover ourselves in case someone says, hey,
You didn't.
there's 5 steps that you left out. Oh,
okay, Lou, do you want to make a motion to approve this?
I will motion to approve the zoning map change workflow document as presented tonight.
I'll second that.
And we have a motion and a second. Well, that automatic, I don't know whether you wanted to be part of the motion or not, so I'll ask that then it will be posted on the website.
To be posted on the website, correct?
Okay.
Is this discussion time?
Yeah, I'm gonna just verify with Tom that that is an acceptable modification of the motion.
Yeah.
It is, okay.
Okay.
Yes, now we have a motion and a second. Time for discussion on the motion.
Okay, so this is the map change chart for normal districts. A lot of planned districts will have other things like preliminary meetings and stuff like that. So just so that we know, this is your basic district workflow,
Straight districts.
straight districts.
Yeah.
Okay,
It basically works for straight districts, but not for other kinds of districts.
like doesn't work for the overlays.
It doesn't work for any of the overlays. It
So we
doesn't
call
work
it
for the
straight
plan. It
district.
doesn't work for the
Add that to
plan.
the disclaimer?
I beg your
You
pardon.
want to add that to the disclaimer?
Or to the title.
People know what straight districts are?
No,
Maybe
most,
not.
most people probably don't.
And Brad
But
said
you've
straight-
got a
straight
disclaimer on
lines
there
for
that says
everybody.
it doesn't apply in all cases, so.
Right.
To me, that disclaimer covers the question that Joni is bringing up.
Should we add, we have our zoning checklist. Should we add a line in the zoning checklist or whatever the instructional sheet that we came up with? That refers to this workflow for straight districts, but not for overlay districts?
Nah,
Well, we're not trying to,
nah, we're not gonna give them more stuff to.
I don't think we're trying to tell them that they need to go back to refer to this, because we put the disclaimer in that it's just to kind of give them the overview picture. So there is a checklist that they can use, and the procedures they are
Right.
printed online as well.
And the checklist is actually something that is on the table here to do with the zoning department.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, do you need some way to identify it when you post it online? Or the other documents? How are the other documents identified?
Just by the
By name.
But they're called, not a document name or number.
No, the document name and like the document number you guys put at the bottom of the page, that's really just for you guys.
Okay, okay. So it's not gonna stick out, it's not gonna be out of the ordinary.
Okay, so as long as the disclaimer covers,
To me, the
Everything that-
disclaimer covers it, but
don't try to confuse people with straight districts or planned districts.
I'm afraid of that, yeah.
Well, we could later, once we work through some of the changes to. If we could come up with a similar.
Mhm.
If it's
Ooh.
substantially different, we could come up with a similar process diagram for how to change those.
Well, maybe,
Let's wait on
I don't
those.
know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think we're ready for that yet, but
Yeah.
Yeah, it may get so complicated with the overlay districts that, because there's gonna be,
Well,
we've got it set up in such a way that we have that, make reference to the specific procedures that are identified.
mhm.
And we don't really have a specific checklist yet. We might want to generate one in the future. Okay,
And I think people
So-
going in for overlay districts are gonna be more sophisticated. And they
Property
may-
owners are not gonna be changing them.
Yeah, they-
Those are-
not without, professional support.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so they're gonna be telling us what it says, not asking us what it says.
Yeah, well, they're gonna be challenging our interpretation, because theirs may not match
Yeah.
ours.
So,
that doesn't mean we're wrong.
no,
No, but they may challenge it. Okay. Joni, that addressed your
Yes.
question, and is there any further discussion on the motion? Since there is no further discussion, then, all those in favor of approving the zoning map change workflow chart, as presented and posting it on the website, please signify by saying aye.
I,
Aye. Opposed, no. Motion is approved. And with that, then you will submit the electronic updated version to Ashley, and she can move forward with getting it posted. Okay. Next item was priority for addressing recommendations in the Harlem Township strategic plan. The main reason I want to put that on there is because of the meeting last Thursday. Trustees had the meeting, they accepted they approved, actually, they passed a motion to adopt or approve, what was the wording, Ashley, do you recall? I don't think it was adopted, but I think
It
they
was
approved.
accepted, but they have the ability to edit some areas, especially the timelines.
accepted, okay.
Okay, so they have formally basically put that on as an item, a work item for us as a zoning commission, and it becomes a priority item in terms of attending it. And I printed off, actually, the first chapter. There should be enough of these so that everybody can get a copy. They're just two. Maybe I didn't
Oh,
put enough.
there you
in.
go.
Oh, yeah,
Want them
the-
without
yeah,
the
for
marine?
Marine.
Oh.
Um,
So the impression I got from them that was that the first order of business, and it should be done right away, is this thing that Holly sent me, that's as a condition of approval. They have to agree to join an economic development agreement.
I'm not worried about that at the moment. Let me deal with this and we'll come back to that, please.
Okay,
Okay, I'm not ignoring it. It's just that will confuse where I wanted to bring everybody to the same page at the moment. And that is, what you've got is information from the existing comprehensive plan. And this is the first chapter. I would direct your attention so that you would look at page 2. It's blocked off previous master plans effect on the township. You'll see here this identifies that the first master plan was adopted in 1988. And that was done with the township, and they had asked Stratford Associates to prepare a township master plan. That was the very first one. They called it a master plan then, not comprehensive plan. Delaware County Regional Planning Commission developed a comprehensive regional plan for the entire county planning area in 1991. But then for Harlem Township, we didn't make any changes in that plan that was adopted until 2007. The process was started and the comprehensive plan was revised. So there was this document produced initially in 2007, 2008, it was adopted. And then it was revised, basically, turned out to be about 12 years later. And 2018, the process was started, where we brought together again another steering committee to look at the comprehensive plan and revise it. It was updated beginning in June of 2019, and it was actually adopted by the trustees in November of 2021. And as I said earlier, part of the slowing down of that process was COVID. So what we have to work from is a comprehensive plan that a steering committee and the zoning commission recommended the trustees, and it was adopted. And this comprehensive plan is available online. I don't know if everybody has a hard copy or not. Junie probably does. Tom, you probably do because you were here. 3 of you may not have a hard copy of this. Oh, you do have.
Yeah, it's
Um,
available.
what we also then in terms of something that else that happened in 2023, the strategic planning committee at that time made a recommendation, and an addendum was added to well, it wasn't an addendum per se. Actually, we adopted it as an appendix to this document, and it was the Harlem Township Quick Strategy Guide.
And when was that actually adopted or?
It was adopted in March of 2023, which then made it a part of the comprehensive plan. So that's where the overlay districts came into play. And the areas impacted by the overlay districts or identified where the overlay districts were applicable were identified in the Quick Strategy Guide. Right now, then, the comprehensive plan consists of what was done in 19 and 20, adopted in 21, and a quick strategy guide. And now we've got the recommendations that have been recommended to us for consideration from the latest steering committee on the strategic plan. What I wanted to basically indicate was that in order to move that process forward, not that we're going to jump into making any changes or start specifically on anything tonight, but I want to submit a request, a letter to the trustees indicating that in order for us to move forward with this and to facilitate it, that they would hire either the Delaware Regional Planning Commission or an outside consultant to provide, to work with us as a consultant to make the revisions that are necessary in whether or not there's going to remain 15 chapters. But there's an awful lot of, and Tom, you I think mentioned that earlier. I don't know if you mentioned it for the group, but and in my view as well, there's a lot of maps, there's a lot of overlap, a lot of discussion in here. And you probably are very much aware of that, Maureen, because you worked on it with the strategic plan that has now been adopted or approved by our trustees. So that becomes a guide as the comprehensive plan is revised. It's not the comprehensive plan, but it can be used as a guide as we move forward in terms of whatever revisions we ultimately decide upon. The goal being, according to, or the goal set for us by the trustees is to have that accomplished by 2027. That's only a year.
That's 2 years if it's December.
Yeah.
It was just-
Nice question.
So I just want to let you know that I was trying to bring everybody up to date. You may or may not have been familiar with that history. And I'm going to provide that in a much more succinct fashion in a letter when I submit it to the trustees and indicate that I think we need to have the same kind of process that we've had in the past, where we have someone, a professional, provide us with the assistance that we need to move the process forward in an efficient and professional manner. Yes, now Brittany, you have a question?
Okay, I do have a question. So at this point, the strategic plan has been accepted. What is the significance of that if we don't do anything to update the comprehensive plan? Nothing?
If
It
nothing,
just is a suggestion at this point? Is that what it is? For educational purposes, I'm just trying to understand.
for us, I guess the answer would be yes. For the trustees, it offers guidance in terms of what it is that we're going to be looking for in terms of development within the township. And what changes, there's a lot of changes that are being suggested for the comprehensive plan very clearly. The maps, of course, being one of them in terms of the, specifically with the overlay districts. But if nothing is done, what that means is then when you say, when we take action, if it's not already, if it's not in the comprehensive plan, what is the basis then for us to say what you're proposing is acceptable or it's not acceptable? If it's inconsistent with the current comprehensive plan, then on what basis would we move the process forward? Would it be easier to challenge it without that as a basis for us to make a decision? I think so.
Okay.
As it becomes more arbitrary then, if it's not in the comprehensive plan. This is consistent. Remember that each time we make a motion to make the change, we say that it's consistent with.
Yep.
And so that was one of the reasons for trying to make sure that this gets updated so that the recommendations that have been included in the strategic plan could potentially become a part of the revised comprehensive plan.
Thank you.
Sure.
I'm not proposing that we don't update it.
No, no,
I'm trying to understand what it all
Good.
is.
And I think that I had said to the trustees that this needs to be updated in order to continue to maintain the consistency down the road. You can't just continue to do it. We've got the overlay districts in place, and they are a part of the current comprehensive plan because they're in the strategic guide. But it becomes rather cumbersome the way that it's currently set up. It would be much easier if this document were revised and updated. And then you'd only have 2 chapters that you're dealing with. And it would be easy to see the overall plan in terms of the district for development. So that's where we are.
So
We've had
you-
some members of the public join us.
So you're
So-
saying that, that we take, essentially what we have now is a 2-part comprehensive plan.
Basically, it is, yes.
And rather than simply add the new strategy guide and make it 3 parts, you want to mash it all into one.
It
One
seems to
document.
me that would be what we should do.
Well, couldn't there be conflicting information too?
There is.
So I don't think you could just add it as a third chunk.
It
Right?
would create issues
Yeah.
if we only, if that's what we did.
Yeah.
And you could point to different parts of the comprehensive plan and say, but it says this and it says.
Yeah,
that.
that wouldn't be good for
Yeah.
us. No.
So if we revise it and in fact pull in recommendations that are specifically coming out of the new strategic plan, that's fine. It would all end up becoming a part of the Harlem Township Comprehensive Plan 2027. Because that's probably when it will end up being adopted. It won't be finished in time to be adopted before then. Just, that's all I wanted to do, and I apologize, Joni, for kind of,
No, that's.
but that was, I understand what you're saying, and that's why I went ahead and had this duplicated. It's not specifically listed on the agenda.
Well, I didn't get it in time to do that.
No. I know you got it today from, but I think go ahead and, deal with that at this point. It fits into the discussion. Let's see, we had 2 members of the public come in and are you here? Do you have a question? This is the zoning commission. I'm not sure if you're even in the right meeting. Well, why are you here? You have a question?
It's not about adding on to our home on our property. Didn't know what we would have to go through to get everything in play for that as far as.
Adding, no, you would just talk, the person you need to contact is the zoning director or zoning inspector,
Mhm.
Mike Cannon.
And our architect guy's gonna contact him. We were curious to, I think we both pulled up the 98-page document in the strategic plan, I think, for, Harlem. And just was curious too about Fancher Road.
Venture?
Yeah. Like what the future might look like for Fancher.
That's a good question.
No, that's a very good question, and at this point, there's no one that can give you a direct answer to that. What you can see and know is that currently the overlay district, there is an overlay district that applies to Fancher Road, and you can see what that current overlay district, what those requirements are. But what that means for somebody to utilize that, they have to have a minimum of 25 acres, and then they would request to have that brought down or applied to their property. Otherwise, everything that's there now, the zoning, nothing changes. Even though there is an overlay district that is applicable there now. What came in the strategic plan recommendation, there were some recommendations for some changes to that, but we're not looking at making any changes in that on any kind of an immediate basis. But there is a plan, an overlay district that is already there. It's part of our zoning resolution.
So do you have 25 acres?
No, we have a little over 3.
Okay, so,
Oh, you're
The-
FR1.
yeah,
Pardon me?
Your farm residential, FR1.
Yeah. It's where I grew up.
Okay,
So-
We bought my mom and dad's house.
cool.
He grew up in Big Walnut. We both
Went to
lived here
Big
all our
Walnut.
lives, so.
nice to be back, right?
Yeah.
Are you north or south?
We are on the south end.
Okay.
Of Fancher.
Close to
But-
Miller Paul.
Just was curious, like, yeah, if they would widen the road, how that impacts. Yeah, I know.
That's,
There's a roundabout maybe going in at Miller Paul.
There's a roundabout, on Fancher and 605.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's in place, and they've already engineered a roundabout at Harlem and Fancher.
We got a letter from the engineer's
Right.
office.
And that's gonna, I don't think the county engineer is gonna ask us whether we want it or not. He's gonna say you need it, and we're gonna put it in, even though there's a lot of resistance to it. It'll probably happen. Is there gonna be another one? And there's a third roundabout at South County Line
Yeah.
in Fancher,
East of 605.
on the very east side of the township. That's already been
I haven't
engineered.
heard anything about what at Fancher and Miller Paul.
Well, but so you've got three on Fancher Road now. The one on 605, the one that's coming
Right.
on South County Line, the bid's already been accepted and they're moving forward with it.
but that's
Mhm.
over at the county line.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
And then there's
But-
a new one so county engineer,
Paul, though, the letter said, I just read it the other day, said it won't be done or won't be in effect till 2029.
You said Miller Paul or Harlem? Which one did you mean?
Miller, Paul and Fancher. So-
I listened to the monthly engineers conference calls or meetings. And they really haven't talked about a fourth roundabout on Miller, Paul and Fancher in their formal meetings. Now, there may be stuff boiling under the surface. So, if you have that letter, I wouldn't mind seeing it.
Yeah,
you got a letter from the county engineer's office?
last year.
Oh, last year. That was before, before Virginia moved, because she told me she got a letter.
But she would have gotten a
But
letter
she
about
would've-
Harlem.
Yeah, she got one about Harlem.
Oh, she got a letter about Harlem Road. You're
Yeah.
right. Sorry. Wrong
Do you
street.
think about putting a roundabout in at Fancher and Harlem too?
Oh, that's
That-
already,
That's the one we all already know about, yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay,
I had no idea they were even considering one at Miller Paul.
yeah,
because the county engineer wants a speedy east-west crossing of the township. And
Yeah.
Fancher Road is the most likely option for them, because you've got the extension of Fancher Road in Licking County that goes down towards the Intel site, and you've got South County Line Road coming off of US 62 down in Albany. And South County Line Road is going to be a major thoroughfare between 62 and 37 to the north.
Was that letter asking you for some feedback or what? What was the purpose of the letter?
it was just to inform us that it's, projected and coming in the next couple years.
That's
So-
interesting, because as far as we know, or if our trustees have received any information regarding that, they have not shared that with any of us. You can add, maybe you did already. You said,
Feature, 'cause I was like, that is so close to home for us.
yeah, well, you did say that you had talked to Mike Cannon. Did you happen to ask him about that?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Well, inquire, if you would, go ahead and ask him about it, because as I just said, none of us are aware.
If he sends me, from my work, I can scan it and send to him, a copy, an
Yeah.
email.
That would be good. That would be
Yeah.
helpful.
Let you guys know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
because-
if you want to ask him to circulate it among us, or we'll ask him.
Yeah.
The other
Are
thing
you
I,
guys trustees? You're not the trustees.
No, we're the zoning commission. That's the reason I said I wanted to make sure you knew what meeting you were in. The trustees meet on Wednesdays, so they will be meeting next Wednesday. If you want to inquire about it of them, then you can come to that meeting. They start their meetings now at 6:30 on Wednesdays.
They often have somebody from,
Typically, someone from ODOT
yeah,
is here that will be able to answer those questions.
There may be someone from Franklin, from Delaware County
Delaware County.
that'll be here. Especially if that's something new that they're going to want to be sharing, they come to the trustees and do that. So it would be, I'm glad you brought it to our attention because we were unaware of it.
The other thing I would say is that the document, that 98-page document that you're reading, is a new strategy plan, the steering committee, that is not, it's been accepted by the trustees, but it's not part of the comprehensive plan yet. So what you really want to look at is the comprehensive plan that was adopted in November 2021, and the quick strategy guide that was added to it in March 2023.
That, these documents that Tom is making reference to, this is a hard copy, but they are available online. This is what you would see online as the cover page.
Okay,
And so those two documents have been, those are official documents, and that's what we go by. What we were just discussing when you came in is how to deal with this third document that was just accepted last Thursday. How do we merge all those documents together? But it's not part of the comprehensive plan now. So you can read it as maybe something that will happen, but we can't use it as a guideline for zoning decisions yet.
Right now, your zoning information is all in the regular zoning resolution, and you're a straight zoning district, called farm residential. So that will tell you what you can do right now.
What the street or what the road looks like in the future, the overlay districts would apply to that, but those would only be available to be used once sewers are available. So until sewers are there, you're just using the straight zoning that you have now, which is FR1.
And the other thing I can tell you about whether the road's going to get widened, when the development went in on 605 between Fancher and Bevelheimer. There's about 20 houses in there now. The county engineer widened, or at least increased the easements along Fancher Road, so that at some point in the future they could widen Fancher, and they may do the same as they go west from 605.
They'll do it on both sides, or they pick one side of the street? or the other?
Well, the development was on the south side of Fancher, so that's where they got the additional right of way. I don't know what they're gonna do on the north side of Fancher.
Houses on the north side are further back, so I was just wondering, they built it further back for a reason.
But they didn't do anything to the, it would have been to the west of 605. That was to the east of 605.
oh, okay.
Right, but they are looking at Fancher in every way and in every indication we get without them actually saying it. They want to widen it, they want to straighten it, they want to put in roundabouts.
It's like our parents are both buried at the Fancher Cemetery, you know,
As is mine.
have a lot of relatives. So,
Yeah, it will become a major problem with that
If they
situation.
decide to widen the
Yeah.
Fancher there,
And where does
Everything
Fancher
else.
end up? It ends up at a 2-lane causeway across the reservoir. So no matter how wide they make Fancher
Yeah.
and how many roundabouts they put in, everyone's got to get across a 2-lane causeway over the reservoir, which is engineered and owned by Columbus.
right.
The Delaware County engineer can't touch it. So where's all that traffic gonna go?
And it's, from when I was a kid, traveling that to now, it is just a lot different. There's like car after car after car.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, without a doubt.
years ago in the 70s, you never hardly passed a car. So,
So one of the recommendations in the strategic plan that was just accepted was that there would be a road to instead of on Fancher where the cemeteries are, because it's very constrained there and the sight lines are terrible there, to actually have a road that goes through to the north of that. So you kind of curve up and go north of there instead of using that part of Fancher. I don't know if that's in the land use map for the long term, because that's noted.
Yeah.
My mother's buried there too, and it's just a terrible place. The sight line is bad. So that was in the land use plan.
So you can see there's a lot of discussion that potentially has happened and will continue to happen, but at this point, as Tom has indicated, there's no change yet has been recommended from the county, but it's not something that, well, it comes down to that's a county road, so the township itself won't control what the county does, but they usually communicate at least at some point with the trustees. That's something I'm surprised that if the trustees know about it, they just haven't shared it with anyone. But it's interesting that they start sending letters out to property owners and the trustees are in the dark. So trustees will get a question and they don't know about it. So it's good that you are asking, and please do follow up as we suggested with Mike. And what you offered to do, that'd be great if you could do that. Copy that letter and send it to him.
Did you sign in?
Yeah, we did. We've come to a few of the meetings, we're just sporadic. But we'll be back.
They're always welcome. It's a
Yes,
it's a
we
public
certainly are.
meeting. As you can see, there's plenty of room.
Well, at least I hope that that's somewhat helpful to you, even though you don't get a direct answer.
Yeah,
Well, thank you for bringing it to our attention.
oh, sure. Thank you for all the work you guys have done.
Well, thank you. We stay busy.
Definitely.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and move forward to the recommendation that you have here, Joni. The item you brought in for discussion, because you pointed out already that this was something that was brought up at the trustee meeting last week.
Yeah.
On
It was-
Thursday, the 5th.
It was something that they recommended we do quickly.
Yeah, there was discussion about that.
Because if we don't have it in place before they start bringing us overlays, it won't count.
Right. So the question is, it fits in with possible language changes in following sections of planned overlay districts. Which is next, we had identified some changes that we were going to make. This could be a part of that at the same time. When we do that, then this would be a time that it could be done. I don't know specifically what section now in our
Sorry, what is
document.
this is from? Where is this from?
This is from Violet.
Island Township
Okay,
And Holly provided. this
in Licking
language.
County. It's Violet Township in Licking County.
Fairfield County.
Was it Fairfield?
so
Oh,
how
I'm sorry.
provided this language in which section are we?
In Fairfield County?
This conditional approval. right down here.
Okay, number 8. Got
Yeah.
it.
Let's see. I'm not sure.
And. she
How it
had
would
some
fit in.
better Write the language at.
Okay. Before, I mean, I haven't read it. I'm sorry. I missed it.
You can
and-
get it out.
Oh,
there
okay, I
now.
was gonna say,
Did you look to see where it would fit?
could you just summarize like what exactly the intent of it is?
The intent is to require any new development that uses the overlays to join some sort of economic development agreement, whichever kind is in place in the township at the time, whether it's an NCA or a CETA, or, they keep throwing these different abbreviations around, but there are different kinds of economic agreements.
Okay.
And the idea is to get them to
Actually,
agree to join those agreements. If they don't officially join them, then they would not get their building permits.
this is language that probably would go into 31 and 32 then, wouldn't it?
But we're allowed to do that. We're allowed to.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
How would we adopt this and make this part of our zoning code without these agreements being in place yet? Kind of a chicken and egg thing. Which
Well,
comes first?
If you read this, it's fairly broad. It doesn't specify which agreements.
What if there are no agreements?
It doesn't say anything about which
Nothing
ones.
to join?
Then there'd be nothing to join, and that's not our problem. The trustees are working on those.
Okay. we're telling them they have to join the economic development.
Agreement that is in
instrument of
place.
choosing.
Read the last
Good.
part of the paragraph. It says if it's not been finalized or executed.
The event that,
Yeah.
Mhm.
So do we need to, I mean, what's the plan for this? Do we need to take time to like absorb it or are we just planning to like adopt it now or
No,
what is the?
We're not going
what is
to
the
adopt it
proposal here?
now, because we don't know
Where we
exactly
agree to
even
put it.
where to put it.
Okay,
That's the reason I was looking. I think it probably would go into, and this is just a
Procedures.
guess at this point. It looks like it would fit into, Articles 31 and 32 in the sections that are for criteria for approval.
okay. So the
Because this says
procedures-
condition of approval,
Okay,
and in 32,
We do have a condition of approval in 31, section 3108.
yeah, right. And then in 32, it's 3207. So it could fit potentially into those two
If you
sections.
look at 3108, it is almost what is being proposed here.
I'm sorry, what was it?
3108 is on page 3107.
Oh, wait a minute.
Talking about
I'm
it.
looking at criteria. 3206.
It's like we would replace that with the new language.
It's already there.
No, like she said, it's
It's
just.
only JED. It only
refers
refers to JED.
We need to expand that to NCA's.
It says in the event that NCA is not yet in existence at the time. NCA is identified here.
Not in 3108 unless that's
3108.
new.
It's in 3206. That's where I was looking. In 3108,
So one of them refers to a JED and the other one's to an NCA.
well, that's interesting. At the time they did this, they must have thought it was going to be a JED and NCA didn't get put in there. But it is in 3206.
And again, it's only,
No application and development plan shall be approved unless this condition met at the time of filing the complete application.
I
And
I
it's,
really,
the NCA is there.
yeah, but I really like this new language better.
Oh, I'm not suggesting, I'm just saying that it's there in one case, but it's not there in the other one.
so we would just
This is where we
This
would
is
cut
what-
base this.
Just drop it into 3206 and
So you-
3107.
So you just take that out. put this-
yeah.
All right. Hey, Joni, would you like to take a look then? Since you brought this forward at these two
Good deed.
areas and figure out the wording that could be utilized here to go into, I'm saying, it looks like it would be 3108
And 3206.
and 3206.
I'm,
Those are the only ones.
Holly had a lawyer draw this language up. I say stick with the lawyer language.
So
Yeah, but that doesn't tell me anything if it's not in the documents, what I'm saying. You know, you're
Well,
gonna
I'm
put it
saying
in here
take
somewhere.
This out and put this in.
Well, do that. That's what I'm suggesting for you to do.
It's literally just a.
If you will draft it up, then we'll have it to look at.
He wants a red line copy. With-
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna- I'm just gonna take that out and put this in. I'm not gonna draw lines through
Yeah,
certain
yeah, yeah.
words here.
Yeah, just.
But I don't have,
We don't have the.
I don't have
Okay, so you're saying
a Word document of this.
you're saying you can't
It's a
do it.
PDF.
Because Scott's the only one.
Scott's the one who has done this for us in the past.
Yes.
We don't have Scott here tonight
We
to
need to
do it.
tell, email Scott this and say, can you put this in section 3206 and 3107?
Yeah.
Well, I,
But we have
even
to
for that,
to do that.
well.
They just
before-
sort of language change.
All we're saying is,
If Scott puts it in and sends it back to us, then we have something to look at and then we.
Oh, yeah, well, he's not, you weren't suggesting that Scott would do it and put it up online. He's just
No,
suggesting he
because
draft
he
something
would-
for us
He
to
would put it in the
review.
Word version, send it back to us. We could look at it, approve it, and then we'd have,
Okay.
Or
we'd have a hearing. Yeah.
since it's, but I don't know whether I can get Scott to do that or not, honestly. But it's coming from, the zoning commit, or not the zoning commission, coming from the trustees to us as a recommendation. Is it coming from, Holly? So maybe Holly could draft.
Does Scott just want to give us the Word document? And we'll do it ourselves?
Yeah, I don't know that Holly has a Word document of our thing. I think only Scott has that.
Yeah, why can't Scott do that
It's-
for us?
Take him like less than 10 minutes.
It could
Well,
be done in the amount of
he
time.
would have had the document, the original document, because she's the one who drafted it originally.
Well, but we want to use what's.
But this is not
what's-
she may not have this copy. I don't know whether she has the final version in a Word copy or not. Scott does. Well, let me see. I'll follow up. I'll contact Scott about it. And then we'll take it from there.
but
I'll bring, if there's something that we can have for our next meeting, I'll make sure that we get it.
so I just want to be clear what we're doing is that one of us has to look at the current zoning resolution. And how much of it is taken out? Is it the whole 08 or just a part of 08? And then I'm 3108, and then do we drop this thing in its entirety? Or are there any tweaks? No tweaks, no
No,
little,
no messing around with tweaks. I'm not a lawyer and she had a lawyer draw this up.
Yes, swap it out.
Yes.
so the entire section 08 and the entire section 06 get pulled.
Yeah, because it says condition of approval, so it's exactly the same kind of language.
And
I
it
just
started
wa-
out the same too.
Yeah,
Okay, that there's nothing in the existing resolution that we want to keep for one reason or I don't know, I haven't read it, so I don't know.
Well, we can read it and think.
What I
about
have
it.
to find out, I guess, the person that's going to answer the question, I think, is none of us, but the person is going to be Holly and or John Trainer.
Okay.
That's where it initiated, came from them. So if this is what they want, then what we would do, 3108, the whole section, every word that's there would be deleted. This new language would replace it. So this would show up on a red line copy, all deleted, and then this would show up on the red line copy in red font because it would be the new language. And then we'd bring that forward and possibly bring it as a recommendation for zoning change next week. Or not next week, sorry, next month.
Yeah, and then we'd have to set a hearing on it and go through that whole.
Yeah, set the hearing, right, exactly. Go through that process.
So let me ask this, if they're so hot to get this done so that we have it in place before there's any requested downloads of the overlay districts. Why don't we set a hearing now? Because we know essentially what it's gonna be. Set a hearing now for 30 days out, and then next regular meeting, we'll go through the wording. But other than that, I mean, you're saying it's very straightforward. Take this out, put this in, you're done.
I don't know. I mean, I'm only making that as an assumption based on what little I know, since this is the first I've heard of it. Although I was at that meeting, I heard them say it. But I didn't hear that, no one gave me a directive to do this from the trustees. They see it as a priority.
Yeah, and I'm saying if we don't set a hearing today, it's gonna put us 20 days behind or whatever.
and it's gonna move it into April probably.
Nobody's, they can't start using overlay districts until they're sewers. So-
But they can have something written up and turned in, which is, I believe, is what they will plan to do.
Once the application is,
Once they have the application, then we can't insert something later.
I don't know whether there's a priority on the part of the trustees for wanting to make that happen.
That is definitely the impression I got at the meeting.
Yeah, I did too.
Well, why didn't they then make it make a phone call to me and say, this is something that needs to be addressed?
Is Bob
And it
still-
needs to
Is
be
it Bob
addressed
still
now.
involved? Can he weigh in?
Bob, are you still?
Yeah.
Bob, are you still online?
I am.
You've heard all this discussion.
I've heard
So
everything
what we're coming
and
down to is to say, okay, if this is such a high priority with the trustees, that it needs to be
you
done
can wait till
this
next
month,
meeting.
that's what we need to know.
You can wait till next meeting. We're having a meeting next week and we can look into this. Because candidly, I was not aware of this.
Well, the issue becomes one that Tom's trying to do is to say, let's go ahead and set a hearing date for this before we even know what it is we're going to have the hearing on.
Exactly.
So the earliest, let's say we operate at lightning speed, the earliest we would be able to adopt this new language, have a hearing and adopt this new language. We'd have to get it revised before our meeting in March, where we could look at it.
We'd have to have it revised. And then we'd have to take action, so that if we set the hearing date now, that means we got 5 days to submit it to the regional planning. What am I going to submit?
Bob said wait. Bob said we can wait.
But it wouldn't even be our next meeting. It would be the first meeting in April, the earliest that we could hold a hearing on
The
it.
whole
Yeah.
hearing. yeah.
Well, that way we could hold a hearing.
Unless we held a hearing like a March, like late March, or like we could have it doesn't have to be at our first meeting of the month. We could have a special
Yeah.
meeting to hold a hearing.
You can have us, if we do it, yeah. It has to be though, we have to meet the timeline, which is a minimum of 20, a maximum of 40. So you can't go it sooner than 20 days.
So our first regular meeting in March,
March 2nd.
March 2nd. So it would have to be 21 days after that. Would be another Monday.
That's when we would hold the hearing.
It would be March 23rd.
It's the soonest we could hold a hearing on it.
I'm likely to be out of town.
We got 5.
We only need 3, right?
Yes. Somebody said we only need 3. Yes, minimum of 3.
So we could take action late March. And then the trustees could then take action.
They would get it at their whatever April meeting.
Yeah, so we wouldn't.
They wouldn't even get it any faster,
We could
so
just
it
do
wouldn't
our
make
first
a
meeting in
difference.
April
Yeah.
and give it to them at their regular. Meeting. So that
The only,
quickest they could get this, that they could get this adopted would be in April. Even if, like,
Would they have
if
to
we just
hold-
met our regular process.
then
They
they,
have to hold a hearing on it, their own hearing. So that pushes the whole thing into May. I mean, you may be right that whatever we do is irrelevant.
They don't have to
because of
review
their
it before they
schedule.
hold a hearing, do
don't they?
they? Yeah, so
They
once
just-
we make, once we.
Yeah, but they have to
once
receive
we
it.
make the recommendation,
They
they have to receive it and
They have
then
to
set a
receive it
hearing.
and set a hearing. And they're not 20 days, they're 30 days. So,
So the only way we
they could have a
really could
special meeting.
expedite it is if we could have our hearing the first meeting next month. And you would only expedite it, I guess, by a month, essentially.
but if we will be ready next regular meeting on March 2nd to deal with it and set a hearing for March 23rd, that's the best we can do.
Yeah.
And that'll give us
There's no
time,
point in.
Yeah, there's no
in having
point,
a
though, that would
special
make a
meeting.
difference.
There's no point in having a special meeting.
because we don't, unless the trustees have,
They would have
And
to
they're-
have a special meeting to receive our recommendation and then set their hearing for their regular meeting date.
They can schedule a special meeting if they are in a hurry to get something done, as long as they meet their minimum timeline requirements.
Well, let's let Bob report back to us on what he finds when he learns more. We'll get the first thing we have to do, is make the change for us. and give us something to react to. Then we can schedule that, or we can.
We could schedule a special meeting yet this month.
Yeah.
Not to, not to have a hearing, but to
Yeah.
schedule a hearing.
Right.
So we can expedite things that way, but once we decide that we're going to schedule that, like I said, we're supposed to submit it to regional planning within 5 days. So why am I going to submit to regional planning if we take action tonight?
Nothing.
So,
Well,
can't do it
If
tonight.
Scott- if Scott, of course, if Scott is doing the red line write-up for us, it'll be fair.
Let me just ask a question, not that I'm asking you to do anything, Ashley, but the question is, do you have the zoning resolution in a Word document?
I
You can turn it into one. Okay.
PDF to Word, if you would like.
Okay. Then I'm asking that because we may end up having to do that if we're not getting what we need and what we want from regional planning.
But whatever change we make, it all goes, Scott would have to make that change in his version anyway.
Yeah, he's a-
Oh, yes, at some
So
point down the
it
road.
doesn't make sense for us to.
Now, I'm not suggesting that we do
Copy
that,
we
but
need with-
if we can't get it handled and we need to handle it quickly, there is an option there. Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Which obviously if we were gonna create it to where it'll red line when you guys edit, but. Like Lisa said, sure.
Yeah.
Changes.
Where's
All right.
Bob, you've got a hot mic.
Okay. All right, so we are going to be addressing it, Joni, as quickly as we can. But we can't take any action tonight. Going on. At the same time, we've got those other articles where we're talking about making that change. Maybe we can end up potentially with a hearing and it'll have all this on at the same time.
Yeah.
The other one, going on down to the next under new business. Definition of significant tree stand. We have that information that Louis has shared with us.
Yeah, you want me to explain what I found?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the first little statement that says for the purposes of this section, I just did a Google search for significant tree stand and found the ones that these are referenced in actual zoning documents in different places.
Okay.
So their zoning purpose. So the first one there, it's fairly good the way it's written. We can probably adjust if we wanted to adjust the size of the tree stand or the percent coverage of the canopy or the diameter. Those are all things that I think we could change if we wanted to, but I mean, most of the language is there. Some of these other definitions are what I pulled out of some other documents from other places. Just for our own reference, if we wanted to have things like that, whether defining tree stand or native trees. We get down to the heritage tree and the heritage stand. Those references came from an Oregon zoning code. Seems like a lot of the documents I found were from Washington State or Oregon. They have a lot of this type of management out there. And then that last one, I did a search for all of the surrounding townships around Harlem, especially the ones that are more rural like we are. And the only one that I could find that tree preservation was listed, and I forget which one it was in, but there was only one township that had any reference to any tree preservation at all. And that, so I just pulled that language out just to have it.
Which one was it?
That's not bad.
I forget which one it was.
But it was a township in Delaware
A township
County.
in Delaware County, and it was, I just don't remember which one I looked at. But there was only one. All the other ones had, some of them didn't even have a reference to tree in their zoning code. Not even a single tree referenced in their zoning code. Yeah, I was kind of
That was
shocked.
quick.
No preservation, no tree stand, no nothing. So, in fact, most of the time when I did a search for tree, it pulled up street, because tree.
Oh, yeah. You got,
Tree part of the street, and so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just tried.
yeah,
to
4 of the letters there.
Yeah.
Like trees and nothing. Wouldn't find anything, so.
Huh.
So I just kind of assembled this into one spot, thinking there's enough here that we could, I think if we wanted to create a definition, there's enough here that we.
So that is the question coming down to, do we want to create a definition to include in our definition of terms?
And further, do we want to have, and I didn't look up to see if ORC had any sort of references or any other, and Jody, you might know some of this, or some of our plant, was it the plant club? What's the?
Garden.
Garden club. Might have a reference or somebody that we could look at to say, are there heritage trees in Ohio that we might want to refer to, and certain
We
native
have-
species?
ODNR listed big tree.
A big black walnut tree that's on Center Village
Yeah.
and got the little sign out front. Yeah, they're just down the street from me. But not, or the native varieties, like what are the types of trees that we would want to protect if we found them? Like maybe they're not big enough to go on a register yet, but they're of the type of species that we want to protect. The size,
Mhm.
if black walnut, I think is one of the ones that
Har-
very important.
Harlem Township had a tree guide from 2010 that lists those trees out.
Yeah, so that might be a list that we would.
I have it at my
say,
house.
No, that.
Isn't that something you guys put together, the tree committee? For the civic association, didn't you guys put a list together?
Well, we put a list together for the park. And then a list for people that were interested in purchasing a roadside tree. Yeah.
Mhm.
So we might end up having a tree stand definition that would be just trees, just your average trees that have a good cover and good canopy and good size. But then like a heritage stand would include, like 50% of the stand would include black walnuts, or, trees that are native that we like, that we want to preserve, in this part of the state.
Louis, Granville Township actually has it says all desirable major trees having a trunk diameter at breast height of 6 inches or more shall be preserved. It actually is in theirs. It's Granville Township in Licking County.
Good.
So there's a little bit additional things that could go there.
So what's the pleasure here? What do we want to do with this? We want a definition?
I would say that if we look at the last paragraph, the one that starts tree preservation, that one actually, when I read this thing the first time, I said, yeah, that's where we should start. I added one word at the end of the first sentence: to preserve existing native trees. Left it there. I don't have any percentage. I'm saying you should make an effort to preserve existing native trees, period. I don't want to know how many there are, how big they are. I don't really care. Preserve those trees and move on. Now,
So
that would include heritage trees, but if you want to make a special note of trees that are on the list, and there's only one, and there was a second one that collapsed on Bancher Road recently, the oak, the mailman
That was
oak.
quite a while.
Oh,
yeah,
the
that was-
oak, yeah.
Yeah, the mailman oak, that was quite a while ago.
That was a
But-
heritage tree.
That was a heritage, but it ain't there anymore,
Hey,
Um,
mailman.
and then we don't have to define tree stand or significant tree stand. We don't have to get into that rigmarole. Everybody knows what a tree is. And if we say a native tree, that's pretty straightforward. You can look that up and it'll tell you, is it native or is it invasive? And then leave them, don't cut them down. And if you want to come to us and say, I got to get rid of these trees, we'll bargain over it. But I would say,
Well, this isn't so much then, this wouldn't be a definition. This would be something that would be included
yeah,
in the various zoning articles.
Yeah. Yeah.
in the, particularly in the overlay districts.
Yeah.
And
Or any planned district.
yeah, exactly. So that would be a phrase that we would pick up and utilize there. So we wouldn't necessarily, then we're not necessarily looking at a definition at all. We're just looking at language to add into the various articles of the zoning
Well, but
resolution.
It still wouldn't
if
like
we-
having a definition of a significant tree
Yeah.
stand since we.
If we were trying
Refer to
to
that.
enforce or encourage that preservation through density credits or something, we would want to define what it is we're trying to promote. So instead of just saying,
Existing native trees. And they'll come back to us and they'll say, here's where the existing native trees are that I want to take out. Okay, how many square feet of native trees do you have? How many acres? And then we'll hack it. Well, you want to take these out, you gotta do something else.
I don't know, I think it is helpful to define it clearly with measures, so. You know, it's difficult.
Significance is gonna be impossible to define. I mean, yeah, we can do, diameter at breast height, you can do, I would say just sidestep that whole issue. Just say, if it's an existing native tree, don't cut it down, even if it's 2 inches in diameter. Don't cut it down.
Well, I'm going to offer as a suggestion
Those will
that
be trash trees, though.
What?
Some of those will be trash trees.
what would be trash trees?
Some of the ones he's talking about that are, maybe they are a native tree, but they're, 2 inches in diameter or something.
They'll grow into something,
Maybe they will.
you got oaks all over the place, you got maples growing all over, you got shagbark hickories growing out. I mean, they drop their seeds and off they go. And they have little sprouts coming up. Now, if you've got, a 1/2 inch sapling, you can mow that down.
But I mean, in the interest of not defining it, that would be included then, because there's no definition. And I don't know if that's right either.
Yeah. I kind of like having a definition of significant tree stand, as well as putting in the tree preservation section.
That would
I
be,
agree.
yeah, that can be separate.
Yeah.
A definition for
And we might look at the Granville Township one a little bit more closely.
Yeah, this,
definition of a significant tree stand. Given what we are trying to deal with in terms of our priorities, is this a priority, or can it in fact be one of those items that we deal with once we start getting into the individual articles to make the changes that we're going to be making?
Well, I mean, looking at the list of I don't know, what we put together, there is
Came
something
out
that
of
says-
the strategic plan.
Yeah, there is
Mhm.
something that says bolster tree protection requirements.
Right.
So
This fits in with that.
fit in with that potentially.
Correct.
So it's sort of a priority.
But
Well,
Listed in short.
we can't deal with
But-
everything at once is
Yeah.
basically gotta we're trying to deal with those items that are the higher priorities. And are we going to be going through every article making revisions? Or is this something that we would include in some fashion in the comprehensive plan? That's the other possibility too, that it would work into that.
Well, a definition would go into Article 4.
At Article 4,
That would
you
be
know.
easy.
There's
enough.
other stuff, though.
it has to
With-
go
with-
in,
This would probably go into
and
the more.
we're not gonna
general.
jump into making a specific, I don't feel like we need to jump in and make us one revision for trees and not deal with other things that are also of significance.
we would just, that would be, we would step through those bulleted list one at a time, get them all in there, and then push it forward.
Yeah, except that if we wanted to make a change and put it in as a definition, if we're going to be adjusting the definition section.
Yeah.
For another reason, we
But-
could potentially do this at the same time.
We do have to adjust the definitions for barn. That was something else that Mike asked us to do. Is define the barn.
Barn.
He told me today that it wasn't a priority.
Well,
Okay.
There's
It's important to him last week,
one,
and it is a definition that's easy.
I looked
enough
it
to
up
do.
online and there was, I don't remember now which township it was in, but there is a township that has a definition for barn.
Did it seem like a pretty good definition?
Yeah, I should have printed it off and I didn't. Yes, it basically was a definition that made reference specifically to livestock and agriculture. That was the definition of a barn. Anything else would be considered to be a barn under that resolution. And I can't remember now which one it was, but it was one of the Delaware County. I was searching through some of them, and I found that. Not that I was specifically looking for barn. I was looking for something else. Oh, there's barn. We talked about having so yes, we could add a barn definition.
I think we
If
should.
we're going to do a significant tree stand, we could add a barn definition at the same time. And we're looking at net developable area. That's the reason, in terms of the making a change there in terms of that definition. So if we're going to go in and make,
Definitions, we could do it once.
beg your pardon?
3 definitions. we
Yes,
could
that's
do
what I
it
mean.
once then.
Exactly. Yeah. I agree. That's what I was leading up to, because the developable area is one that we wanted to deal with. And at the same time, we could do the other two because they're not big time items. So we'd have I've got it listed here, revised definition of net developable acreage, add definition of significant tree stand, and then we're going to potentially add a definition for barn.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, can someone volunteer then to definitely prepare a definition for significant tree stand? You were working on
I'll
that,
do that.
Louis. You want to stick with it?
I'll continue that.
And then for barn, Jenny, how about you doing
Yeah,
that
I
one?
could do barn.
And like I said, I know there's one out there and I can't remember for sure now which township it was,
Okay.
but it's in Delaware
Delaware
County.
County.
It is. I
Okay.
saw it and I looked at, I kind of remember which ones I looked at. It might have been in Delaware, which is where I printed this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I picked Delaware to look at because Delaware Township is up there around the city of Delaware. And so there's a lot of development going on up there. Berkshire has a lot of development in it, and Delaware Township is to the south and west a little bit. And I thought, well, they're under the same kinds of pressures there that we sort of are. And I thought that might be a good one to look at to see what they're doing. It was interesting to see that their net developable area was very, very similar to ours, not the same. Now, taking a look at that, in terms of what under Harlem Township, I didn't change anything in that except to add the in-ground.
Mhm.
Will that work?
Where it says, and in-ground pipelines. I would say, and in-ground utilities, because you could have, I don't know, water, sewer, natural gas.
Isn't that already implied though, where it says utilities rights of way? Do you really even need pipelines at all? Already-
You need something, a noun for, and in-ground what?
Well, do we even need that? I mean, why don't we make it more general and just remove that completely and just say utility rights of way? It could be up or down
And easement.
or on.
Um,
Do we have to specify above or below?
Well, the way we got into it was we specified above ground, and I said that leaves out a major category, so.
Well, but that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
It's
Do we
take
have
out
to
above ground.
specify where it is?
Yeah, we didn't need to specify it above ground.
Yeah, if we just say utilities rights of way and easements. Do
and
we
take
have to
out-
say anything
Be general.
else?
And take out above ground and currently existing utility structures.
Well, I don't think
Probably
you
don't
need
need
to
the
get
rest
rid
of
of
it.
currently existing utility structures.
And they're in a right of way, assume they're in an E, they're not just standing out there bare.
I don't know how that
Some of the-
language
some of
ended
the
up being
old
there the
ones
way
might
that
not
it
have
is.
Actually had formal rights of ways.
But
Some of the really old ones might not have formal rights of ways. I don't know.
I mean, the power line that comes down between Harlem and Miller Paul, the one that was put in 87, that's on a right of way. I mean, I don't know the answer.
So if it's not, let's say there's a clay tile. Clay tiles that could be just out in the field. It's functionally serving as drainage, but it's not a utility,
Yep.
right?
And they
It's not-
get,
there's no
they get
easement,
destroyed
there's
all
no
the time.
recorded easement, there's no,
The county's got all kinds of, I mean, you look.
unless there is an easement, assuming there isn't an easement. What we're trying to get at is any recorded easement, utility easement or
Right of way.
right of way. It has to be recorded that they can find. If it's an abandoned pipe or if there's some other thing that is on their property, we're not gonna make them take that out of their net developable acres. Only actual easements or rights of way.
So if we just narrow D down to saying utilities, rights of way and easements and currently existing utility structures that exist prior to the application.
What does the last part of that mean?
Okay, so we would take,
Currently existing structure, what is that?
we would go to easements and then delete.
For above and in ground
For,
pipelines.
Well, so you have, it's saying they might have a right of way or an easement, but nothing on it. Or they could potentially have something on it as well. That's
But
still.
it would still be part of the easement if they had something
Yeah.
on it. So I'm saying, I don't think we need any of that currently
No,
existing
don't.
stuff, because if you have big high power transmission, or if you have a sewer line, or if
They
you have
already
a
have-
drainage
Okay.
or water line,
Okay.
if there's an easement, if there's a recorded easement or
Utility rights of way
Right.
and
whether it's being occupied or
recorded
not.
easements,
Yeah, utility right of way and easement.
and then just put a period there.
Period.
Okay.
Does that work? Okay,
So-
then I'm gonna make that change.
Yeah, now let me,
Utility rights of way and easements,
recorded easements,
recorded easements, sorry, yeah, I did say it, but I didn't write it down.
period. Until E.
And recorded
Right of way
easements, period.
Well, there's no way there can be an existing utility structure without an easement.
Well,
Let me-
if there was, how would they calculate the acreage to pull it out? If there was a piece of pipe there with no recorded easement or right of way, how would we tell them
I'm
to subtract that from their, it has to.
And
No,
then,
I'm just asking
Yeah,
in terms
yeah.
of like,
And that's how I'm trying to get at.
Can I
don't
throw
think there's any
something out?
measurable way.
I don't have an easement on my property. On my Keene Road property. There's no easement or right of way. So they had to, when they put the gas pipe through there,
So you're saying your road is a private road?
it's not.
It's a public road that doesn't have right of way?
It doesn't have right of way or easement on Keene.
What did they have to
When
do?
you had
They
gas
had-
put in, you had to sign something giving them a right of way.
Who maintains the road?
It's a township road.
It's gotta be right of way.
It didn't have, they didn't have a right of way when they, it's a non-conforming. But my point is, I haven't, there is an example where I had to give the gas people the
Right of way.
permission. Yeah, but there isn't a formal recorded right of way.
so there's no easement.
There's no easement. There is on Fancher, but there isn't on Keene.
So there could be currently existing utility structures that are not part of a right of way.
That's-
easement.
That's a caution.
No, that's good.
I don't think it hurts to leave it in.
well, so if we worded it that way, right? Utility rights of way and recorded easements and currently existing utility
It's
structures,
just currently
Just
existing
period.
utilities.
Yeah, utilities.
currently existing utilities,
So-
okay.
So Maureen, you gave them permission to put in a pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not an easement. So you could go dig that pipeline up. Or how
I don't know.
legally, could you build something over top of their pipipeline? There has to.
Well, I wouldn't build something over a gas
Yeah, yeah.
pipeline, quite honestly. no.
I'm thinking that they had to have recorded something
Utilities.
that restricted. that-
Well, it's recorded. I mean, the pipe's recorded, but I don't think I granted an easement.
Well, you wouldn't have, well.
Maybe not an easement, but give them a right of way of some sort.
I don't
Hey,
know.
They did something. They had to. There's no way. They would have put that pipeline in on private property without permission to have access. And then
They need,
the only
yeah,
way
that's
they
just
have
what I
access-
was coming down to.
It
They,
could-
they
it could-
want to have access at some point in the future if they need to.
Right.
And if they don't have that,
Yeah, and it could be a maintenance agreement. There could be some sort of maintenance agreement, legal. And if so, we probably would want to take that out of their net.
So
well, let me see if I've got the
Existing
wording here that we
utilities.
want. I've
Well,
got
I-
utility rights of way and recorded easements and currently existing utilities.
Yeah,
sure.
Is there a period there?
yeah.
So I'm deleting overhead electric transmission lines. That's out too.
Yeah, we don't need to saturate.
Yeah, take out everything until you get to E.
So another wrinkle.
Oh, Tom.
There are in the township a few abandoned oil wells.
Yes, there are.
Is that, how does that fit into this wording? I mean, they're not.
Utility? That count?
No.
So just.
It's not a utility. It was a private,
There's a pipe in the ground.
Somebody's drilling oil.
they pumped out the oil, they put it in a big barrel. They didn't, it wasn't a pipeline. They took it out on.
So it's.
Put it in a big barrel and then they come along and
Would they
collected
do
it.
some sort of remediation to
I would hope
cap
so.
or fill or do
But
something?
wouldn't that be regulated by the EPA or something?
Otherwise, it's
though?
just
I don't know.
hazardous.
There's a state group that maps abandoned wells.
Right.
What they do about it, I don't know, whether they cap them, whether they just, there's a map, and if it's on your property, you know about it, you don't worry about it. I'm just saying, there are other things out there that we could say, you certainly don't want to build a house over it. So it's
No.
not a developable,
Well, then,
You don't wanna
but how
build your
far
water
away from it
plants either.
do you have to move?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Are there enough of them that it's a problem that we need to address?
Utility
Or is
rights.
it more something we address with the development plan?
If it's not in here, we don't get to address it, even later on. I would say.
do you want to then just add and abandoned oil wells?
What about a water well?
Well, you can't build over that either. Or you shouldn't, but I
You
suppose.
could just say
There's-
abandoned
There's
wells.
more
How
water
about just-
wells than there are oil.
If we added, had and currently, and abandoned or currently existing utilities.
Is a well?
It can't be abandoned and existing. I don't know.
She said or, but if it's-
Currently
if it's
existing or abandoned.
Abandoned,
It still exists.
wouldn't, if it's an abandoned utility, it would be to the developer's best interest to dig it up, get rid of it, and then
Yep.
use that as part of their acreage.
Yep.
They can work with.
Yep,
So they would want to take that out.
I would hope so.
I would think so too.
If they knew, if they looked for it,
Well, developers probably gonna look for that.
they may know it's
Or
there.
they'll find it once they. hit.
They'll find it pretty quickly if they're
Yeah.
doing any
By
landscaping.
that time, if they're building in it, then it's part of their gross. They're not. Or
Okay,
it's
so-
already part of that, because they didn't know about it, so they didn't.
We're going to word this utility rights of way and recorded easements, not and, there'd be, because then we've got another and here, and currently existing or abandoned utilities. Is that what we're doing?
Well, they seem to think we don't need or abandoned.
I'm of the opinion that if they're abandoned, it would be better for them to. We'd want them to get rid of it and use that versus leaving them
Yeah.
in place.
But if it's there and there's no prohibition on it, then they get to count that as net developable acres. I don't have to touch it. Even if they don't build over it. And so that means they won't take it out.
If it's there and it's abandoned and they don't tell us, then
Well, if it's
We-
considered to
we-
be a utility, what difference does it make whether it's abandoned or not?
we're back to the oil well. The abandoned oil well, that's what got us thinking that way.
And I don't know what the problem is. I mean, I know that they're tracked and they're mapped. Why? Do you know? I mean, abandoned oil wells explode.
It's just basically hazardous waste kind of things.
Didn't they catch fire?
Well, this is for purposes of calculating net.
Research and
developable area.
culverts, but I didn't do oil wells.
They can catch fire.
We're saying currently existing. We're not saying currently active, currently operational, currently in use.
I know, that's what I'm
Existing.
thinking
So
along those same
abandoned is
lines.
kind of irrelevant.
Still existing.
And if it's abandoned, they could take it out, which then is no longer existing, which actually benefits them to take it out, which is the circle.
And us, depending on what it is.
Yeah.
It benefits them in the sense of they don't have to use it in terms of making a calculation of net developable
Right.
area.
Okay,
Okay,
now,
all right, so what we've agreed upon, I'm gonna make that change then, so that the draft that you're gonna see next will simply have the following: utilities, rights of way, recorded easements, and currently existing utilities.
is that utility?
I mean, is that necessary? It sounds like it's redundant now that I'm reading it again.
No, I think it's good.
So, but it starts off D, utility?
It says utilities, rights of way, recorded easements, and currently existing utilities.
I think what Tom is saying is, should it be utilities rights of way or should it be utility rights of way?
I kind of like how utility singular sounds for rights of way, but plural at the end. Single at the beginning and plural at the end.
Utility rights of way.
Okay.
And easements.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be plural there.
Right. So
Okay.
Singular utility,
I'll change that to utility,
rights of.
rights of way,
And
recorded
easements.
easements, and currently existing utilities.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, then we're done.
Okay.
And
Now,
then
This
E,
must
E
be
is
done.
existing bodies of water.
Under A,
The horse.
just read it. So we go through all this horseshit about the delineation manual and the US Army Corps of Engineers, Vicksburg, Mississippi. And then it keeps is that a period? And then jurisdictional, so I inserted an and after, I didn't know whether Mississippi was an abbreviation or is that at the end of a sentence?
It's both.
Well, why don't we just write out the word Mississippi
Or use the.
or
use
MS?
The actual abbreviation.
Yeah, there.
Well, because I copied it from here and pasted it in a Word document, it may have done something funny to it. So let me find it in the definition.
And very well may be the title of that manual. They spelled MISS.
Technical report Y 87-1 US Army Waterways West Vicksburg, Mississippi. Period.
That's the way it is in here. It's just a period after Mississippi.
And then.
I think it
Oh, no,
it probably intended to be the abbreviation and a
And the
period.
sentence.
Yeah, I think it was intended to be both.
Okay.
Yeah, it's jurisdictional wetlands as defined by the Corps
Yeah.
and jurisdictional wetlands
So
defined by the Clean Water Act.
As regulated.
It-
So I put in,
it's an abbreviation and it's both.
Yeah.
so if we have jurisdictional wetlands twice. A, we have jurisdictional wetlands in this 3 lines ending in Mississippi.
Yeah.
And then the word and jurisdictional wetlands is regulated by,
No, because this one's really long with all the A's, B's, and C's after it. I would hate to make that one long
but I think,
sentence.
yeah, but I think you get to inundated or saturated, and that's a period, that's the end of section A. Because you said you're using jurisdictional wetlands twice. And it was confusing to me, is this the same?
This is the definition. The second sentence starting with jurisdictional wetlands is more like the definition of it. It says.
You have one as defined by, and then you have the second one as regulated by.
And who's gonna be the one telling us? Is it the county is gonna oversee this? Like, we are not reviewing and telling the.
No,
property owner.
the property
Yeah,
owner
yeah.
is,
Survey.
yeah. Finding that information from these sources, and then they make the calculation of that developable area.
But the county engineer is enforcing the fact that they have properly identified the wetland property.
That's, yeah,
Not
that's
us.
not the township's responsibility,
Right.
no. Is there going to be a change here, or are we leaving it the way it is?
Much the same way that Scott listed floodplains and floodways as defined by. I thought, didn't we go through in our last round of updates? We made modifications to, they defined flood and floodways. And they gave definitions and they pointed back to the county engineer.
I don't recall that.
In the last round of updates that we made, when we pulled everything out and moved it to. I don't know exactly which section it was, but that's it.
In definitions now?
Oh, maybe it was.
Do we have to change anything here?
Trying to figure that out.
What I was trying to get to is if we're trying to define what wetlands are.
No, we're using the language that was already there. I didn't set out to change anything.
I'm just trying to make it grammatic.
And I was trying to point to the county already enforces, it has a good definition for wetlands, and they're the ones enforcing those. That much like the way that we pulled out the language for flood because the county is enforcing it, we would do the same thing for wetlands if they have it. Which I.
They're actually defined in the comprehensive plan.
This,
The same way.
it's the
With-
same
with
language.
both
I mean,
multifamily
obviously,
and
this
regulated?
came from, it must have come from Delaware Regional Planning, because Delaware Township has exactly the same language.
Do you know what page on the,
Page 51.
of the comprehensive plan?
You have 7 minutes. And we're stopping.
Yep.
I have no problem with keeping all of it now that we've changed the last part of the utilities right to live.
I thought I would spell out the word Mississippi so there's not confusion about whether that's a period or an abbreviation.
So there's no, but we leave the period there as a period, as the end of a sentence.
The period would come after the word Mississippi.
And then a new sentence begins jurisdictional
Jurisdictional,
wetlands,
yeah.
again, as regulated. Okay. Now, there are 2 other differences between the Delaware Township version and the Harlem Township version. One, the Delaware Township version specifies this applies to planned unit developments, not to all zoning districts. Do we want to leave ours? We don't say planned unit developments. Should we, or is it better not to? Because that's a big restriction. If you're saying this only you know, this only deals maybe only with the overlay districts.
I'm not suggesting that we change it. Is there a motion to change it, or is there a suggestion or support for changing it?
Nah.
And number two, they've got 15% of gross acreage. We've only got 10% of gross acreage.
Yeah, I know, I thought 15% was kind of high.
So we leave it at 10 and then it goes on of the subdivisions gross acreage rather than planned unit development. So that's the difference between the Delaware version and the Harlem version.
Yeah. Any place that the term net developable area would be a requirement, it would apply under the current version.
Mhm.
So maybe subdivision doesn't belong in there. Just 10% of the gross acreage.
Yeah, doesn't have to be subdivision.
Yeah, subdivision, that's true. That shouldn't be there. I think that probably should be deleted. The land area measured in areas determined by 10% of the gross acreage for streets and utilities, and by deducting all otherwise unbuildable areas as follows.
So where the word jurisdictional wetland comes the second time, when I was reading through it again, it seems like it should have A and then the second time should be B, maybe not. And then change B to C and C to D and working all the way through.
It could be changed that way. It's not a big deal.
I mean, that way there's a clear distinction between the Vicksburg, Mississippi and the section 404.
Okay, I'll do change that. So we got A, B, C, and then there's a C, so the C becomes a D.
He becomes
100% critical. I guess that's it.
So you should have
Oh, no.
F existing bodies.
Yeah, all the way down to F.
Wait a minute. By D is slopes.
Yep.
What?
E
Is utility
rights of
rights.
way.
Oh,
And
D,
F-
yeah, that was confusing me.
F is
The
existing
E
bodies.
becomes an E. And the E becomes an F. Okay. So we've got A, B, C, A through F now instead of A through E. That's probably the way it should have been.
Just a
it's
question.
Put
And
those,
they have 6.
I'm gonna ask a question if I could.
yeah, they numbered theirs.
But
So if you were writing this as a formula, jurisdictional wetlands is one thing, it's not two things. So I think separating them out wouldn't make sense if you were writing it as a mathematical formula. Do you understand what I'm saying? So net developable acres is gross minus A minus B minus C minus D minus E,
Okay, no, I see what you're saying.
not minus jurisdictional wetlands twice. It would be once, I think. I'm asking the question.
That is, that, what Tom was assuming is that there are jurisdictional wetlands that are regulated by the Corps that are not also defined by are regulated by the Clean Water Act, but not also defined by the Corps. I see, like you, I see those as the same thing. You've got ones that are defined by the Corps, and those that are defined by the Corps are regulated by the Clean Water Act. So that A was meant to be all jurisdictional wetlands.
So maybe they should, the point being that maybe they should be separated
I
that
think
way.
jurisdictional wetlands are all part of A. Then B is floodplains. C is steep slopes.
Going back to where.
That's the way it
Going back to
was.
The way it was written originally. That's. the way-
Yeah, that I understand. Yeah, I was thinking
Group
along the
goals,
same
yeah.
lines that Tom
more
was
you
before,
do.
but I think it's better to not have it separated.
But
I'm
you don't
asking a
seem
question.
about that.
No, I think it's better to not have it separated that way.
Not having jurisdictional wetlands twice.
I understand your point, but one of them's defined and one of them's regulated, and I don't know what that means that they're different.
They're not necessarily two different. We're not talking about two different categories. Could be the same wetland. But one is, this is what we've defined it to be, but then it's regulated, the same area is regulated by section 50 or 404.
Yeah, I think
So
it
there's
was fine the
no,
way it
there's
was.
no increase in the property area.
And Delaware Townships is written exactly the same
Exactly.
way, so it's kind of like maybe that's
All
a
right.
legalese kind of
And
thing.
I would.
So we're going
note
back
that
and leaving it the way it was. Yeah, we're just gonna leave it alone. After all that. All right, that's fine. I'll change it.
Wetlands will-
So the next draft you'll see, well, I'll make that change. So I'm taking care of this net developable area. I'm sorry.
No, you were just saying this clock is also incorrect.
Mm.
Can't find the clock.
Okay,
I'm just, is different here.
It really is. We're like in the zoning commission twilight.
all right, and we're not making any changes in those other articles because that we already agreed. The simple change that was made was satisfactory. We took care of public questions and comments earlier when the public was here.
Even Bob left.
I'll be doing some follow-up with Scott, regarding this, and we'll see where we go in terms of, our next meeting. There may need to be a special meeting, if so, in February. If so, I'll be getting back in touch with you.
Okay.
And letting you know about that. But as of right now, we're not going to schedule anything. Okay. That takes us to the end of the agenda.
Yes, it does.
A motion, yeah, to adjourn.
To adjourn.
Oh, Brittany did it again. And a second. Seconded by Louis. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye. Opposed, no.
Good
We are
night.
adjourned. Thank you all very